Before we start anything, let's arrive. So find your feet on the floor, connect to the earth. Find your rear end on your seat. Kind of bring your upper body, your shoulders over your hips, so you have to use less effort. You turn your attention inward, just gently, without worry or judgment, peruse your landscape. And as I usually like to do, I invite you to inhale and gather up all of the remnants of actions and thoughts and efforts you use to arrive here and now. Inhale and gather. Exhale them out your feet back to the earth. You don't need them anymore. Let's do that again. Inhale and gather. Exhale back to the earth. Now, with your next inhale, gather up everything that might be tugging you away from now into the future. So, plans, anticipations, worries, inhale and gather. Exhale those off to the side. They're important. We don't want to get rid of them, but we don't need them now. They'll still be there when we're done. Inhale and gather. Exhale off to the side. Just stay in your inner landscape for a few breaths. Hopefully it's more spacious, more calm, simpler. Let's go ahead and put another layer on our arriving. There is a idea that linear time is a convenience for the human mind, the limitations of it. In Tao, it's not a line, it's not a space. Probably best to say it's beyond our comprehension, but that means that when we practice, when we heal ourselves, when we cultivate these energies and intelligences, that we benefit from the practice, but it also reverberates back in time and forward in time. So let's draw around us a spacious circle and turn your attention to the left side of that circle. Invite your ancestors to come, settle, arrive, and join us on the left side of your circle. Can be older friends, older siblings, certainly parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, aunts and uncles, generation after generation back in time. Allow them to arrive, to enjoy our practice today. Now turn to the right side of your circle and invite your descendants to join us. This can be children's already living or children yet to be born. Can be younger friends and siblings, cousins, nieces, nephews, and then their children, their children's children, and so on into the future as far as we can reach. Allow them to arrive. And in Tao practice, there's a lot of the use of the word lineage. It's helpful. So behind us, we want to assemble our teachers because we are carrying on their lineage. Even if we only practice today, we carry it on. But we also carry on the wisdom and efforts of all of our teachers, our second grade teacher, our seventh grade teacher, neighbors who taught us how to saw a piece of wood, another teacher teaching us how to do taxes. Anybody who has shared their skill, their wisdom generously with us. We appreciate and ask them to join and benefit from our practice. We expand that even further to writers, artists, musicians, playwrights, actors, dancers, singers, anyone who has inspired us in some way. They have also taught us. And the last part of our circle, straight in front of us, are the members of our karmic team. Those are the people who are in our lives throughout our journey or just passing through. They can be supportive directly, but they can also be those that challenge us. In either case, in any case, there are those who offer us this momentary decision to be our higher self, or maybe we're not quite up to it in that moment, but we get these opportunities over and over again. Invite them to join and benefit. Lovely. So trust that they will stay. You don't have to keep the front of your mind attached to those in your circle as we think about autumn and the elements, and we do some movement, and then we'll sit down and do some internal nidan, down meditation for the class. So some of you I know, some of you I don't, and I assume that because this will be posted publicly and sent to everyone who registered, many can't be here today in person or live. I will go over some of the very basics of the elements because the elemental energies are what we'll work with this time around. I think I'm going to show you some pictures. So there are two sets of elements, two sets of 5 elements in Asia. One is, in Japanese, they call it the Godai, which means the 5 big things. And those are bigger than us, let's say. They're air, water, metal, fire, earth, and ether. These are the elements more commonly used in shamanic work, or I think they're the ones used in Tibet also, both shamanic and Buddhist. But the ones that we concern ourselves with in our practice can more accurately be translated as the 5 passages or phases, because they can be changed. They are in a state of flux. So you see on the screen, fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And we want to work with things that can change. We don't want to pound our fist against those larger elements asking them to change. We use them in a different way. So our 5 elements we use in the generative cycle. You see here that one makes the next. Fire makes ash and creates earth. Earth, through its slow pressure and movements, brings together the molecules of metal and creates ore. And metal attracts water. The prosaic image is if you have a pot on the stove boiling water, if you lift the lid, you'll see that the metal of the lid has attracted condensation or water. I like the larger image of metal is of the earth, it's the mountains of the earth. So when a cloud, which is water vapor, bumps up against a mountain, it releases its water to the ground below. And water nourishes wood. That's easy and kind of we see it in daily life. And wood fuels fire. So in our practice, we use these slightly differently than an acupuncturist or an herbalist would. Acupuncturist diagnoses you, and they can bring together a lot of subtle aspects. We have practices that recruit all of the elements, and we rely on the practice. We don't try to figure out, oh, my heart is too hot, too much fire, so I will bring water. Well, likely you have too much wood fueling your heart. So you have made this decision and it's kind of taken you off in the wrong direction. In the 6 healing sounds, in the 5 Yin Organ Qigong, and other elemental practices, we always practice all 5. And this is an aspect of always practicing like you're just beginning. You don't know anything, but you know through transmission or written materials, classes, you know the practice. We depend on the lineage. It's a precious gift. And those 5 elements show up everywhere in many different forms. I don't want to go into the list of they call them attributes. But if you were to study them, if you were to study Chinese medicine or acupuncture, you would get a table with 25, 30 attributes for each of those 5 elements. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that. As my focus, taking the 6 healing sounds, 5 of which are the elements, we work with color. We work with an organ, a yin organ, because yin organs receive. They want to receive, they're open, so they receive our practice and our care. But each one of those yin organs has a partner that's a yang organ, and we can affect the yang organ by caring for the yin organ, and then that yin organ, say, talks to the yang organ. And 2 mental emotional vibrations. A lower kind of unharmonious vibration of the emotional energy of each organ manifests as a burdensome emotion. So we're moving into autumn. I'll try and focus on the lungs and the metal element. So the burdensome emotion of the lungs and the metal element generally is grief, melancholy, sadness, and some texts also bring in shame. In our practice, we support the organ, the energy, the emotion, and offer the opportunity for that dysregulated vibration to even out, to become harmonious and higher vibrating. In that case, we have the wisdoms, originally translated as the virtues, but I think the word virtue has a lot of baggage. I like wisdom better. The wisdom of our metal element and our lungs is courage. So we have these dichotomies, and they are not snug. They're not clear. You think, I feel very sad. Shouldn't I want to be happy? Well, happiness is nowhere in the Tao practice. It's a Western idea, I believe. But it's a good example because if you are grieving, if you're truly sad, what you need most to move through that, even to the next moment, is courage. Thinking if we need to bring in any other attributes. Actually, those are the ones we work with and the 6 healing sounds. Oh, yeah, and sound. So each organ element has a sound. The sounds are soft, they're old. The sound of the lungs is the sound of S. And we do, in this practice, we do the sound 3 times. The first time, I will talk to you. I will give you a list of some of the attributes, some of which we won't necessarily be drawing on. And I just want those to float through your mind. I don't want you to try and remember them. In the series, you'll get material that you'll have information about each of the attributes, and you can do it, study it, sit with it at your leisure. Second time, it's probably the most special one. We continue inhaling the color, and we exhale grayness, and we sit with the burdensome emotion. We don't, for that period of 5, 6, 7 breaths, we don't try to avoid it. We don't justify it. We don't repress it. We don't even embrace it. We just sit with it and allow it. In our culture at this time, I've come to think that all of the high-speed media and other things similar are about avoiding sitting with these emotions. So just having that short period of time within the structure of a safe practice to sit with these emotions can change everything. We offer an opportunity to change a little more because with the third breath, we invite any of that energy, any of that burdensome emotion that is ready and willing to transform into the wisdom, the melancholy transforming into courage. It's always an invitation. And this is another opportunity to resist the flow of our culture in that the practice is more beautiful and more effective if you can release your desire for it to change. Because you've sat with your melancholy. If we push, then, okay, I've done that. Now it's time to get better. Now it's time to be. No. Melancholy gets to stay, gets to be. We invite, part of it wants to transform, then perhaps the vibration of the energy will transform. So this practice is, I think, one of the most precious of the Taoism that has come west. And it's kind of classic in that it's easy to dismiss it. It's it's very accessible. Everyone can make these sounds. There is a little bit of structure to the simple movements we make before making a sound, but nothing super challenging. And even if you have, for instance, an injury, easy to modify. So many people say, well, This is strange, kind of interesting, but how could it do anything? And they dismiss it. It's actually one of the most challenging practices meditatively because it's all you. You're the one who has to be super honest with yourself. That when you're sitting with your sadness, you're really there. You're not going, oh, yeah, that was a sad movie. Okay, I'm sitting. How many more breaths do I have to do this? And then move on, which is our nature. It's not to be judged, but really sitting with your melancholy. And even though the wisdoms are appealing, a lot of us, a lot of the time, will be shy about really claiming them. Are you courageous? There's a lot of mentioning right now with the social politics about bravery and doing things like that, but there's all sorts of ways to be courageous. And in fact, to really do this practice is courageous. Okay. Any questions or anything that came up from those things I said? All right. So basically, I don't want to lose track of the fact that this is an introduction to a longer series of 12 90-minute classes. The structure is generally the same as it will be tonight. I'll talk about something to give you a context or an idea that I want to bring into the practices. We'll stand up and do movement and Qigong. And then after that, we will sit down and do the more internal energetic work. For those of you who've been in my classes before, autumn is interesting because we begin when it's hot. We're going to end mid-late November this year, past the beginning of winter, which is like the first week of November in the Chinese calendar. But to go autumn, 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 and then switch to winter is not the way nature works, is not the way the Tao works. So as we move through this series, we're going to be going a little quieter, a little deeper, and so forth. Still working with those elements and autumnal energies, but just as nature will be moving toward the conserving, internal, quiet time of winter, our practices will modify too. And I also decided, those of you who've been with me several years know that every once in a while I make changes and things. I like repetition. So repeating these practices every week, kind of anchoring, being an anchor for you in your weekly practice. But then the last few, I want to push you. So we will be doing more perhaps esoteric, more internal or, things. Still elemental, still about the cadence of autumn. So let's do the Qigong, and then I'll just mention a couple things about autumn energy, and then we will do 6 healing sounds, and that'd be good. So as I guided you to your feet and your sits bones and your chair to sit well, let's stand well, paying attention to that subtlety, and it provides a transition as well, and transitions are important. So begin by just standing, your habitual, natural way of standing, and then move off of that to be a little more precise. One precision is that the feet are parallel. The knees, hips, and ankles are not locked. Feel the heaviness of your shoulders, bringing them down. And roll your skull, roll your head slightly forward so your crown connects to heavenly yang chi. Lift your toes and kind of grab a little more of the floor, and that will open bubbling spring point or center, connecting you to the earth. Just stand and let that energetically neutral structure, posture, imprint on your body. There's something from Organ Qigong that I like a lot. It's called the commencement breath. And it's done before Tai Chi, before Wudang Qigong sets. This is a Wuji posture. So once taking the Wuji posture, we inhale, raise our hands to about shoulder, and exhale. It's not an arm thing. Inhale, rise, kind of come up, become more spacious, front and back. Exhale. And you settle into being more grounded. Again, spacious, but grounded. So we need to do a little purging before we take in or refine our energies. Let's just do a little intuitive shaking. So bring the intention of loosening up. So we loosen our joints. That's easy. That's nice. But also think about any energy. Can think of it in terms of lymph or blood that's kind of slowed down, kind of not flowing the way it would be optimal. And as you're shaking, just observe. Is there any part of you that is saying, yes, great, more? Any part of you that's saying, I don't feel like it? Just observe. And now that we've loosened, we don't want to just leave the stagnant stuff that we're done with, that's depleted, that maybe isn't even ours to begin with in our body. So let's send it to the earth with a big kind of snapped shake. You can use that Huang seed syllable with the mouth closed. Let's do that again. And shaking. And again. One more time. Let's do another purging, releasing. Horse shakes its mane. So I bring my feet a little wider. I just like stability, but however is comfortable. And anything wider than the hips, and your feet need to be under your knees. Don't try to keep a parallel foot if you go wider. And we begin, we kind of cant forward to give ourselves some room to move our hands and arms. And you begin by twisting your wrists, loose fingers. Then add your elbows. And add your shoulders and shake it, release it downward. Again, wrists, elbows, shoulders. And I like to move from this wudang. This isn't wudang, this is Temple of Peace, medical qigong. Sorry. So we go from horse shakes its mane into tantrum. So horse shakes its mane is very structured. Tantrum is not. So, and then imagine, I don't know, you've been waiting all day for a certain coffee and they're out of it or they're closed and you're an adult, so you just have to suck it up. Well, now you can be 2 years old and give yourself a nice tantrum and make sound. Let's do that from horse into the tantrum. Wrists, elbows, shoulders, and into the tantrum. Stand, observe, appreciate. So the generative cycle can be started anywhere because it's a cycle. But we traditionally start with the lungs, which is nice for us because metal is our focus this time. And we'll do the entire 5 Yin Organ Qigong. We may or may not have time to do all 6 of the sounds. We'll see. But we'll do enough to give you a very clear idea of the practice. First thing you want to do is pay attention. Bring your attention into your lungs. And then inhale white light filling your lungs. Exhale grayness. Just inhale white. Exhale gray. So the 5 Yin Organ Qigong does not work so much with the mental emotional energies. It's the physical and the qi. So the physical movement for the lungs is we extend our arms. Nothing is locked, shoulders are down. And I inhale and I open my chest and that opens my arms. I'm inhaling white. I exhale gray, but now let's add the sound, the S sound. Inhale. Filling your lungs with the color white brings in fresh metal element chi. The sound in the gray releases stale, stagnant chi. And come back to just connecting, observing, giving your lungs and your metal element a breath to sort of take in that unusual attention. Rushing through the movements, the steps, you're cheating yourself. Some ways our body is much quicker than our mind, in some ways it's much slower. So slow it down and allow your body to go at its slower pace with this. The next in the generative cycle is water, kidneys. So can connect with the back of your hand. It's a little kinder to your shoulders than palm. And close your hand though, so you're not leaking chi out of your palm. Smile into your kidneys. Inhale indigo blue, filling your kidneys. Exhale grayness. So beginning with your left hand over your right kidney. So this is what I started out like this, but I'm pulling that left hand a little further to the right to connect with my right kidney. I start with my hand over my forehead. And basically, I'm scooping. And so the element is water. So it's like scooping water up as I inhale that indigo and exhale, coming across, scooping up. And the sound is cho, 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 one more, cho. So stay up and just switch your hands. Scooping this one this way. Cho, 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 cho. Last one. Cho. You can return to one hand on each kidney as you just observe and stay with your kidneys. Water grows wood. The organ of our wood element is our liver. So this is my right side. I don't know how it's showing up on your screen. Smile into your liver. Inhale a lovely green into your liver. Exhaling grayness, cloudiness. So even this gentle breath helps us purge what's old and take in fresh chi. So the liver is very prone to getting sticky and stagnant. Sorry, my light bulb seems to be acting funny. Just go with it. We go a little deeper because we want our hips to be stable. We don't want to twist them. We want the twisting of our body to take place on our waist. So this twisting, we'll do this way, squeezes your liver, stretches your liver. And that squeezing and stretching, this pumping of chi is what cultivates strong chi body, clears our organs of stagnation, and brings in vitality. So with the liver, we exhale, we inhale. So I'm inhaling as I pull in on my right side because the movement is symmetrical, but we're focusing on our right. Pulling in green light, exhale, SH is the sound. Shh, shh, shh. Shh. More. Shh. Pull your hand back, raise your posture, stay with your liver. And moving to your fire element in your heart. Smile into your heart. Inhale a red into your heart, and not a hot red, something soft and gentle. So our hearts don't stagnate, but they do get overheated. Want our heart calm and cool. Exhale grayness. Exhale any pathological heat. So for the heart, it's also symmetrical. Do it on each side, but we kind of pay more attention to the left side. We begin as if we're holding a ball, maybe a small beach ball, soccer ball. We inhale red into our heart. And as I exhale with the ha sound, my bottom hand comes up and I press out any heat or stagnation, too much fire. So it looks like this. And then to come back to the center, hands don't change position, but this one flips palm up. Inhale, red. Or summer is the fire element time. Easy to get too much fire. Release it. It's still hot outside. Back to the center. Pause. Stay with your heart, just observing. The last of the five is the spleen. So if this is the center line of my body, 3 fingers to the left of my center line, just under my bottom rib. If you press there, it should be just uncomfortable. Then you found your spleen. Just to compare, press here or here. It's kind of not, so what? But here it's like, ugh. But we're not doing acupuncture. The whole area the size of your palm is fine. So we're inhaling yellow into that whole area and into the body. The spleen is inside. And exhale grayness. The movement is our thumb and our index fingers are connected. Find your forehead, go out and up. So for this, we want both our hips and our shoulders to be stable because once again, that twist at the waist is what we want. The sound is, it's described as the tiger growl. It's guttural. So we inhale yellow into our spleen when we're here. As we go to one side or another, we inhale. Come to the center and come back down. Be with your spleen. Just observe. So another application, I guess, of being like a beginner, assuming we will make mistakes, we will misunderstand, is when we do work with our energy, we assume we will release energies that maybe were stuck or repressed and are still hanging around. So we end the 5 Yin Organ Qigong with a version of the turtle breath. So the internals are more important than what you see on the outside, but it's the whole thing. Showing the outside, we soft yin inhale and then super yang tip over inside. I pull my perineum up. I pull my abdomen in. I pull my kidneys in. Even the sides of me get pulled in, and my diaphragm goes down. So inhaling chi, and when I do this, all of those engagements bring the chi into my dantian, into this cauldron, into my belly, where we can store any chi. It's also like filling the body with soft yin chi. And then this, I'm also bringing in any chi that's been released that I can't use, comes to the dantian. So we only do this 3 times. It's a strong breath, and that's all we need to do. But doing this breath like 10, 12 times doesn't get you anything, and it can disrupt your energies. So grounded, inhale soft, exhale. Inhale. Stand, brushing down, kicking your feet. Just releases any like tension really from your hips because the practices are all standing. And this brings down any yang chi that has risen into your head or into your heart. Bring it down, give it back to the earth, or you can bring it to the dantian if you feel like, if you're confident that you can do that. I think to the earth is a little safer. And then stand. So the 5 Yin Organ Qigong is a traditional old medical Qigong, meaning that we're really focusing on uh, cultivating vitality, getting rid of icky stuff. Along with that, I've listed a contemporary Qigong, which is really, Li Junfeng talks about getting energy to flow. So there is no organ focus, but it is such a lovely combination with the 5 Yin Organ and the seated practices and can really open us. It's like a counterpoint, I guess. But I'd like to do just the first 3. There are 12 movements. And another thing that's nice about it's called Yin Qigong is that you can start doing it right away. Yes, you can refine the movements and there are details, but don't worry about them. The first 3 kind of form a nice completion. The others are fabulous too, but I want to save time. So we begin with palms together. Foot position is intuitive. And exhale from deep inside your heart into your hands. Touch heaven with one hand, touch the earth with the other. And bring both of those to your belly, your center, your dantian. Might want to go a little wider. First movement is sinking and rising as you bend over. So arms extend. And as I rise, my heart connects to the sunshine. So into the waters of the planet. And exhale into the sun. Couple more times. And then just to gentle the transition, not be abrupt, just make a couple of those movements in miniature. And now we move side to side. So we want to stay front. This is not a twisting. We do that later in the Qigong set. And up. And as I come back to center, like a pendulum, I sink. This is called Ki floats on clouds of Qi. It's flying, but flying like a dandelion seed or a leaf. Enjoying being carried by the breeze. Last one on this side. Last one on this side. And come back to your center. And stand like a mountain. Inhale, palms together at your hairline. Your eyes stay open as you bend back. Hold your breath. Hold your breath like you've been holding it as long as a mountain's life, as long as the mountains have been around. And a little bounce and exhale. Like the mist rolling down the side of the mountain. We'll do one more. Sink. Bring all the fingers together. Inhale. And then exhale out through the palms of your hands. So you're purging here, but it's almost like you're purging little dust bunnies. Nothing big, nothing scary, just like dusting your system. And the movement becomes very subtle. And you do the same thing from your mind. Get rid of those mental dust bunnies. And close your palms and come. So inhale. Exhale deep. Heaven and earth to your center. Let's sit down. So I mainly spoke about 6 healing sounds and the elements inside our body, which is what the 6 healing sounds and the 5 yin organs also uh, is about. But Taoism is animism. I mean, the Taoist lineages that came to the United States anyway, a lot of them were filtered for Western minds. So the ancestral work and the animist point of view was kind of minimized or even left out. In a way, the last 10 years, I've been kind of reconstructing an older form for myself because my main training is with Mantak Chia, whose focus is on health, and it is a Western Taoism and a very, I think, respectable one. So the energetics of autumn, once we get outside our body, are about release of what is unnecessary or no longer functioning or been used, appreciated, but is done. And harvest and celebration of harvest. So harvest is a release also, right? It's just we're so focused on eating lots of stuff that it doesn't feel like a release. I feel stuffed, in fact. But before the days of preservation and refrigeration, those big meals had a purpose. We're nourishing ourselves for the leaner times of winter. We're nourishing ourselves with these big celebratory meals so that harvest didn't go to waste. Still preserved, but not like we can now. So this, what appears at first glance to be a contradiction, isn't. Underlying it is adapting to the flow of seasonal life and energies. Say you wish to make changes in your life that have to do with releasing, not taking in. The energies of autumn support you more directly. If you want to make changes in your life that are about taking in and beginning, springtime energies are all about growth and expansion and I was going to say accumulation, but not our form of accumulation, like the accumulation of leaves on a tree, not uh, lots of beanie babies or something. I think autumn is the one to me that is emblematic of wisdom. Because if you dump everything, you have nothing to carry you through winter. So it is a judicious release, a judicious paring down and simplifying so that you can have comfort and a feeling of abundance through winter, even when historically in the natural world there is not a literal abundance. So, one of the things I want to bring into this is how to creatively and in a fun way, enjoyable way, but also have a little depth to it, work with the elements outside our body, outside our ego, even. Um, haven't quite nailed down what we will do in this series. In the past, we have worked with objects, elemental objects like metal object, wood object, and so forth. We certainly can do that. I kind of want to come up with more action, like homework action, so that you are outside in the autumn as well. I'll see how that goes. I don't think we have anybody in Hawaii or California. Well, Lori's in California, but she's traveling. So everybody's going to have autumnal weather to support this. In the meantime, for tonight, a half hour, which is not quite enough for all 6 sounds, but it's certainly enough for 3. And that will give us metal and water and wood. I think that's a good place to stop for an evening. Now, if we were to stop with fire, it might be a little harder to go to sleep. So we'll stop with it. And let's just do the practice. So sit well. Take some deep breaths. I don't want to direct you how. Come to your center and be grounded using whatever breathing patterns work for you. Let's reconnect with our circle of support. So just gently, kind of with a diffuse focus, connect to the right side and your ancestors. Just move counterclockwise, connecting with your teachers behind you, your descendants to the right, and your karmic team to the front. See yourself sitting in the center of this circle. Bringing the intention of sharing your experience of this practice with everyone here. Trust that they will be there. You don't have to keep the image in your mind, because I want you to focus on the chi field that you're sitting in. See yourself sitting in a cloud or a mist that is a golden light, 360 degrees. Just stay there, see that for a couple breaths. With your next inhale, draw that beautiful golden light into your body. And gentle exhale. Do that a couple of times. Fill your whole body with that chi mist, chi cloud. Add to the pattern. Still inhaling that golden light. But now exhale your grayness or cloudiness. Just giving your body yet another gentle opportunity to get rid of old or stale energy. Slowly, softly coalesce your energy in and around your lungs. Smile into them. Send gratitude. Can go 3 weeks or more without food, 3 days or more without water. How long can you go without your breath? Just being with that breath in your lungs. Specify that breath to be white light, and the exhale, soft gray or cloudiness. Just stay with that white light inhale and gray exhale. The element governing the lungs is metal. The time of day is dusk. Time of life is royalty on your throne. Fully adult, actualized and enjoying your skills and wisdom. Time of year is autumn. The agricultural time is harvest. And the way metal element energy moves is through coalescing or coming together. The way the molecules of metal coalesce within the earth. Let your eyes flutter open. The movement is our hands rise up our center as we inhale. They reverse, elbows back to give your lungs room and make the sound. And return. Continue inhaling white and exhaling gray. Now open yourself to sit with some of your sadness, some of your grief. It's only for a few breaths, but try. Open your eyes, hands float up in reverse. Give voice to some of your sadness. Return. Don't turn away from your sadness, but honor, sit with your courage. Eyes open, inhale. Invite any of your sadness that is ready to transform into courage. Return. Stay with your lungs, just observing, just being with them. Gently float your attention down to your kidneys. Smile into your kidney. Inhale indigo blue and exhale gray cloudiness. Water is the element that governs the kidneys. The time of day is nighttime, even midnight. The season is winter. The agricultural time is hibernation and the fallow fields. Time of life is the crone years, the end of one's life. The energetic movement of water is sinking, the way water sinks to the bottom of whatever's holding it. So to give more space, physical space to our kidneys, we grab the front of our knees and push our lumbar out. We inhale indigo, and as we push out, we make the cho sound. Cho. Return. Keep breathing indigo in and gray out. And sit with some of your fear. It's okay. The practice holds us. We can sit with our fear. Open your eyes, grasp your knees, and give voice to some of your fear. Don't run away from your fear, but open yourself and sit with your gentleness. Grasp your knees, open your eyes, and invite any of your fear that's ready to transform into gentleness. Return. Stay with your kidneys. Just be with them. And float your attention over to your liver. Smile into your liver. Inhale green, lovely, bright, lively spring green. Exhale grayness, cloudiness. The element of wood governs our livers. This is the energy of spring, of youth. It's the planting season. The energy of wood expands in all directions, burgeons. Time of day is morning. Open your eyes, inhale green and circle your arms. Lace, reverse. Stretch your liver. So you're leaning to the left and make the liver sound SH. Shh. Straighten, return. Continue inhaling green and exhaling gray. And sit with your anger. Don't reach out for reasons or excuses of why you're angry. Just sit with your anger. Inhale, circle, give voice to some of your anger. Shh. Straighten, return. Don't repress your anger, but invite into your awareness, your kindness. Sit with your kindness. Inhale. Invite any of your anger that's ready to transform into kindness. Shh. Return. And just like we do the turtle breath after the Yin Organ Qigong, we do the uh, He sound after our 5 elements, or excuse me, our 6 healing sounds. So we inhale, drawing up the earth chi up to our crown. Exhale, returning it with the He sound. Just do that 3 times. No attributes, no emotions. Any questions, please ask. So I will send an email with the link to the recording, and trying to be better at whatever this is, marketing. The series begins next Sunday, and I'll send links to writing about it and how to register. But I also want to mention that on the 31st of October, sounds far away, it's kind of not, we'll be going upstate for the weekend. And we will be working with the 5 elements then too. So I will send you a link on that same email to read about that. And I hope you can join me if you're in the northeast of the United States, or even if you're not. Come and soak up some of the elemental energies of the Hudson Valley. Thank you so much. I hope to see you next Sunday, and have a great week.
Thank you. It's good to see you all.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Miranda.
Welcome. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you, Miranda.